The call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It's almost time for the freaking weekend, and that should be exciting to everyone. Or a little bit weird because we're not going to have Arkansas basketball on a Saturday. That feels strange after everything that we went through the last several months, and we had football every Saturday for so long. There is Arkansas baseball, but the weather outside is a little bit crazy. What are they going to wind up doing? Are they going to be able to play? You have to squeeze in a doubleheader somewhere. They're going to have to push it back to late Saturday night. We don't know what it's going to look like, but here we are. We're here to talk about Razorback basketball and recruiting and transfer portal. The update. There is no update. The team, there is no team, right? I mean, really, nothing has changed too much since we talked on yesterday morning's episode. The most eventful part of my day was getting into a Twitter spat with a Louisville media guy that was taking shots at John Calipari. So here's the deal, though. In all seriousness, we've got sponsors, we've got loyal listeners. We do this daily. We want to keep you guys as entertained, as informed as we possibly can. So I'll be darned if we put this show on repeat with the same info over and over and over when they're just, frankly, we're in a time period where there aren't a whole lot of tangible updates right now. So with that in mind, I think a little bit of a reset and recalibration is in order here. So I want to give you guys the latest pulse check that I have on Arkansas's hopeful returners. We're waiting on that retention aspect, which I'm sure is going to continue to change, just like the weather outside right now. We'll talk about a few developments here that are admittedly kind of confusing to me, and I'll explain that momentarily, and then we'll see how we do it at maybe predicting and looking ahead to the future just a little bit. But guys, before we do that, I got to remind you that the Pod at the Palace is officially sponsored now by our friends over at the Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas, who I will be going to see Friday morning about some new specs. Y'all know I need them. We've talked about it enough, but hey, if you're tired of misplacing your reading glasses or missing the big plays during the games because you simply can't see what's going on, the Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas can fix that for you. I hope they fix it for me. That way I'm not eagle-eyeing out there trying to see the plays. See, did Arkansas get the first down? Was Carter Knox's foot out of bounds? I don't know. I can't see. With these new glasses, I bet you I can. Listen, your vision, it's essential to your quality of life. You know that. And professional eye care is a must for you and your family. The award-winning eye doctors are board certified and professionally active, yet their patients talk most about how caring and friendly they are over there. I know that. Dr. Rish is my guy. I'd love to have a beer with him, not while he's on the job. Okay. But maybe after hours a little bit. Good people over there. Every single patient, they receive the best care of new vision care technology plus old-fashioned personal attention. Listen, they have custom cataract surgery, custom refractive lens exchange surgery inside their clinic location right there in Fayetteville. Refractive lens exchange is RLE for short. It's for people 40 or older who are starting to struggle with near vision and wanting to get rid of glasses or contacts, but they're not candidates for LASIK. The Eye Center offers free screenings for those of you who would be interested in having reflective lens exchanges, so give them a call. Someone you know has cataracts, you can call the Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas today, 479-442-2020. Schedule a cataract evaluations with one of their surgeons, or you can check out their website. I was just on there today, www.eyecenternwa.com for more info. All right, let's get into it a little bit here. It's Friday, right? And so we're officially more than a week past the end of the season. Arkansas season ended last Thursday, so 8 days out. Exit meetings, we believe, have all taken place at this point. NIL packages have been put on the table. Thoughts have been exchanged. Players have talked to agents. Coaches have talked to agents. Remy Cofield's talked to whoever. I don't know. But listen, the only peep that's come out of the current roster so far is that Big Z is portaling. What the heck? Someday, some way, we will start getting some clarity on who stays and who goes. I mean, it's going to happen at some point. It's just not happening as fast as we want it to. But let me hit you with just, my feel for where things stand, though, at the moment. And once again, like we always got to put the disclaimer in here, this stuff changes so fast. And there's no better, way to start kind of exemplifying that than talk about Boogie Fland. Just a prime example of exactly how quickly things can change. I know that there was some smoke around, a potential return earlier in the day on Thursday. Heck, I may have started it actually to a degree based on some of the things that I was hearing. But in fairness, as the day moved along, more checking around, doubling back, talking to some different sources, it does still feel to me like the draft is his most likely end game here. Uh, yes, that was always the plan. Yes, he will get drafted if he enters the draft. The rumblings, though, are that, after, in fairness, like a pretty steep slip in his stock after that injury, it would be pretty easy for him to put himself right back in that first round potential lottery conversation with the strong bounce back season, a sophomore campaign. The flip side of that is it would create, kind of an epic logjam in the backcourt, which is something we've talked about a lot, whether it be here or inside Arkansas Live or over on the Dixon Discord about, they're trying to get a sharpshooter. Where's he gonna fit? Like, who's staying, who's going at the 1, 2, and 3? It can get a little bit convoluted, and we hadn't even been considering Boogie in those conversations. So right now, I would lean towards him not being at Arkansas next season. Everything we say here is subject to change, but kind of the current pulse on the situation. DJ Wagner, honestly, a tough read because he keeps it extremely close to the chest, close to the vest. He has always done that. You guys will remember that he didn't even tell anybody. It's like he told Joe Tipton, like, yo, make me a graphic. I'm transferring to Arkansas. It just kind of happened. And then eventually the staff, I think they leaked it to Richard, to RD. And they're like, yo, you can put a story out. Like, he's here. It's just kind of the thing. He is notably not online kind of guy. We mentioned yesterday, but with Trey Donaldson now officially out of Michigan, off to Miami to run the point, that kind of takes the most talked about portal option off the table for DJ. And I know there have been rumors of him transferring that have been out there. I talked to a couple power conference assistant coaches yesterday, surprisingly enough, because I've been hearing those rumors, but I kind of asked them about DJ, and I get the, wait, he might actually leave Arkansas? Like, really? Are you serious? Kind of thing. And that took me back a little bit. But at the end of the day, Arkansas needs a veteran ball handler in the backcourt, whether it's DJ or somebody else. But he has a great situation with Cal. He knows he's got a role. He's going to play a lot of minutes. He's comfortable there. He's been here for a year. He's going to have some friends, some teammates back. I lean, as of this moment, towards a return for DJ. We'll see. Carter Knox, I've expected a return for quite some time from him now. He did ball out in the NCAA tournament. Definitely caught some attention, caught some eyes there. But that didn't suddenly put him in the first round conversation, I don't think. And you never know what's going through guys' minds, who's in their ear or whatever, but I haven't heard much of anything on Carter, including anything to suggest that he's out of here. So I don't have any reason other than to kind of stick to what I had been hearing prior, which is that he'll be back. And I know he's a high priority to get back for the staff. Billy Richmond, on the flip side, my antennas were up on Billy for a while. We've been kind of transparent about that. Knew that there was some time there where he was maybe a little frustrated about his playing time, his tick, although he did play a lot in the tournament. I mean, he really struggled in that Kansas game. Cal kept putting him out there, so he shouldn't be upset about playing time, right? But his vibes are great. The rest of the tournament was a big factor against St. John's. Was banged up in that game against Texas Tech, but he was still out there. So, listen, I knew there were some schools allegedly trying to tamper during the season. Yes, I know he's got some personal family stuff going on that he's dealing with right now. At the end of the day, he's still fairly close to home already. Fayetteville and Memphis ain't that far. He's loved in Fayetteville by Razorback fans already, have really embraced him. He's going to be taken care of in the NIL department. I'm maybe more confident with Carter right now, but I'd still have to say I lean towards Billy being back as a Razorback as well. And we'll get to a point in a minute here where we're talking about other things and we're like, but. That's not what we're doing right now. Trevin Brazil, another one, has already done the portal thing twice now. He transferred out of Missouri after his freshman year to Arkansas. He was in the portal last year after Muss dipped and then wound up back at Arkansas. He also went through the draft process, went through the combine. He can't do it again. So he's either out entirely and going pro or he's back in college. And he doesn't strike me as a guy that's going to transfer. Again, I could be wrong, but just the vibe that I have there, Fayetteville's super close to home for him up in Springfield. He's been here for 3 years. Cal put some confidence in him, threw him in there, gave him that opportunity when Thero went down, and he balled out late in the year, played his best basketball all around game throughout his college career, I thought. So, I think you get TB back, with the only caveat in my mind being if Arkansas goes out and kind of loads up around him to the point where he feels super squeezed out again in terms of his role. Like, I think that would be the thing that would make him reconsider. But as of right now, he's a guy that I think Arkansas can and probably should and would like to have back. Adou Thero, the last one here, true coin flip type of situation, was in first round mocks, the way he was playing, got hurt. He slid back now. I think he's still absolutely a draftable guy, a guy who would get drafted, maybe not where he thought he was or where he was at earlier in the season. On one hand, he's had his breakout year now, got some injury concerns. It's not just the knee, like he's had the back, some different things throughout the course of his career. How much could he really improve his stock? I wonder. I mean, he could come back and become a volume 3-point shooter, but is that really going to happen in his fourth season? I don't know. It could be some improvement, but will it be enough to really move that needle? On the other hand, the staff we know that they've been working behind the scenes to put together a very enticing NIL package that would probably pay him more next year anyway than his draft slot would. So it's something to consider. And I know y'all won't let me get away with dodging the question, not answering it. So I will say, man, it's a tough way. It really is. It feels like a coin flip to me. I will say that he declares for the draft while maintaining his eligibility. He does that test the waters thing. But I would think he might ultimately opt to stay in. And the only reason I say it is because he would probably get some form of a combine invite, and we know that he would test through the roof, assuming he's healthy. And he came back and tried to play. So I think by the time all that stuff happened, he probably would be. But like, his measurables are going to be insane. His athleticism, like, he's going to test off the charts. He'll perform well in scrimmage opportunities because he'll be dunking on guys, flying in transition, which is the game that they play there. And, like, if he knocks down A3, then people will be like, whoa, there you go. He just strikes me as a guy that would impress in that setting. So that's where I'm going to go for now. Although I'll say I'm really, frankly, not that confident in it at all. I got to be honest. But that's kind of where I think Arkansas is at right now, in a position to where maybe they can pull back 3 to 4 of these guys. And then you do exactly what Cal said. You got 3 to 4 returners, 3 to 4 freshmen, and then go get 3 to 4 transfers to build out your roster. Bada boom, bada bing, bada bang. Final 4 contenders, sign me up. Is it stressing you out though? I mean, come on now. Like, are you feeling the palpitations? You getting a little bit faint there? You might need a visit from our friends over at Basis Health. We know that Basis Health is changing the way healthcare is delivered by providing that mobile medical visit right there at the comfort of your home. This is cool. I wish I knew about this beforehand. I get stressed out for the big game. Yo, come see me. I need an IV. Hook me up, right? But no, in all seriousness, it's very cool, man. A doctor will come to your home for urgent care, primary care, IV hydration, much, much more. Basis Health, they're here for you when you need them the most. Go check them out. This is a cool thing, a cool deal. Our boy Dre has what I think is a really novel idea going on here. Basishealth.org. Go check it out. It's good stuff. You never know when you need somebody to come check in on you, and Basis Health is the group to do it. So moving on. Okay. When it comes to the transfer portal, guys, look, recruiting, transfer portal, there are usually patterns that you can identify with coaching staffs that help you. I mean, it helps you kind of stay on the scent of what's real, what's not, because there's 3 feet of BS, and then you wind up with the truth. That's usually the way that it is. There's smoke screens, all kinds of stuff going on. We used to talk about it a ton with Eric Musselman. His approach was very, very different though. Figuring those patterns out is one of the biggest challenges when it comes to a new regime. And that's something that I think all of us who cover this are kind of trying to do right now with John Calipari and his staff. They operate a little bit differently. Now, when we have clarity in terms of who's staying and going, and we just talked about it, a lot of these questions should answer themselves. But right now, there's, I think, 3 examples or 3 things that feel a little bit confusing or contradictory to me in the moment. My mission over the course of the next couple days this weekend is to get a more clear understanding of those things. But look, we're transparent here, okay? No massive egos or anything like that. Work really hard, take pride in what we do. We try to stay on top of it as best as we can, but we're not always going to be right. Not always going to have the exact answers. So when I talk about this each and every day and put my face in front of a camera and voice in front of a microphone, and I'm facing some riddles, I'm going to share them with you guys. And maybe you can help me figure it out. Because sometimes when you're so entrenched in it, something be right in front of your nose and you just miss it. So that's where we're at here. Let's have a little bit of fun with it. Let's start with the curious case of Lamar Wilkerson, who we have been talking about, goodness, for like every day for a couple weeks now, right? Sharpshooter from Sam Houston State. We know that by way of Ashdown, Arkansas. We don't have to give the whole background bio. If this is your first time listening, and you're listening to an Arkansas Razorbacks basketball transfer portal show, and you don't know who Lamar Wilkerson is, I mean, just go back to any of the previous episodes. You'll get the rundown, right? But first, when you go get intel on kids in these situations, where do you get it from? Does anybody ever wonder about like where does that stuff come from? Where are you guys hearing this stuff? If you're worth your weight in salt, it's from several places. You vet things, you get multiple sources, you see if the intel and the information that you're getting lines up from source to source. It could be the player himself, it could be his family, it could be someone in his camp, former coaches, the Arkansas side of things, sources from other programs who are recruiting a particular player, national recruiting guys, AAU coaches and guys in those circles. No stone left unturned when you're trying to get info here. What I'm sensing with Lamar is a little bit of contradictory info that needs to get lined up. I mean, I've got it on pretty solid authority that Arkansas wanted or hoped that Lamar might enter the transfer portal and that he knew it before it happened. Okay, it just is what it is. Know that the interest there is and has been mutual. I've also been told that Arkansas has been actively making a push in his recruitment. Elsewhere, though, in fairness, I'm hearing that Lamar's current committable opportunities right now out of the portal right now might be, Washington, SMU, schools like that. And then the likes of Arkansas and Kentucky and to a lesser degree, Kansas are in there, but not fully pulling the trigger just yet. And also that the NIL money would probably be a non-issue there. Like it's there, right? But making sure the role and the fit are there are also important factors from his side of things. My question is Lamar waiting on Arkansas to pull the trigger? And if so, what is Arkansas waiting on when it comes to getting this done? Because we have our own evaluations. We see, the in-state kid who, mid-major darling, scored 20 points per game, hit over 103, shot at 45% out there. And you think, my goodness, Arkansas really needs a shooter. And here's a homegrown talent who's done it at a high level, who's getting comps to Chaz Lanier, who just went and balled out at Tennessee and everything else. And you think, yeah, cool, no brainer, get it done. 6'5", got the size, do it, right? But we don't know exactly what the staff is looking for there. What is Arkansas waiting on here? Because from some sides we hear that no, he's a priority. They're really pushing, but then the other side you hear, well, maybe not quite there just yet. The answer could be a few things. It could be Nate Ament, who we've talked about, McDonald's All-American, elite talent, future lottery pick, wing, shooter. Are you waiting for him to make up his mind? Because you probably don't get both of those guys, right? Maybe. Could it be Carter Knox or Billy Richmond that you're waiting on? From a standpoint of if you have both of those guys, do you feel like you need to add someone else at that position, or could you add your shooting elsewhere? Could that be part of it from a roster building standpoint? Is there something in your evaluation of him as a player that you're waiting on? Some say DJ Wagner, but I don't believe he matters in these discussions. Or could there be a name that we just haven't caught wind of yet that fits that sharpshooter role that's higher on the board? It could be any combinations of things here, but what's interesting to me is we've seen, Lamar now Has went and visited SMU, whatever. I'm kind of surprised that he didn't wind up at Arkansas before this dead period, which started on Thursday and lasts through next Thursday. At any rate, I still, there's just something inside of me that says when all the dust settles here that Lamar Wilkerson will wind up a Razorback. I got to admit, the process to get to that point seems cloudy, and it's been way more cloudy than I anticipated. So we'll keep an eye on it because we know Arkansas, they've got to get a knockdown shooter or two or three or four, right? I mean, they have to address that after this last. I'd be stunned if they didn't. Maybe I shouldn't be. I don't know. But we'll keep an eye on that. Next, we just spent at the top of the show all this time talking about retention, right? And guys like Carter Knox and Billy Richmond and Adu Thero. Yet, Arkansas has been attached to more wings and, small ball fours or whatever than anyone else so far, than any other position. Keyshawn Hall, we know they were in on and wanted. He's going to Auburn. Dalen Swain, we knew they were in the process of setting up a visit with the Xavier transfer, who wound up popping on his official to Texas, following his coach Sean Miller there. But they were in on those guys. Now you've got San Francisco wing and a really intriguing prospect who we've talked about before, Tyrone Riley, who reported Thursday evening that he's gone through a Zoom now with Arkansas. It went from the initial contact to a Zoom meeting, so things are progressing there with Arkansas, among a handful of others. But I'm putting my Brian Windhorst hat on here. Now, why would they do that? Right? I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Tyrone Riley, listen, if you haven't watched his tape, you ought to. He can play, okay? And by that, I mean, I think he could help an SEC team, including Arkansas, right now. But my question is, if you knew that you had your two freshman wings returning, what exactly is the need here? Or where is the fit here? Might be a better question, because Riley, to me, is like a Billy Richmond-sized Adu Thero. I mean, he's good. It's interesting, but you kind of have those things, or you're hoping to get them, right? So sure, we could say it's just added depth. And I'm not saying Riley comes in, he's a starter for you right away, but he ain't depth. Okay, he's a contributor, right? And the guys that they've been connected to are absolutely rotation pieces. Riley would play. He'd factor into that top 9 or whatever they're trying to get. Dalen Swain would have. Keyshawn Hall would have started. Maybe they're just covering all their bases, a little CYA just in case. Until we know who's coming back, I expected that the emphasis was going to be on the needs you knew you had anyway, which we've talked about a ton. Shooters and centers, big men, not something that you already have several of. So I just find that interesting. I'm not saying don't pursue Riley. Don't get him out on a visit. Don't take his commitment if he wants it. Please do, by all means. Figure it out. I don't care. I'm not the Hall of Fame head coach. Get the pieces, get the talent, make it work. But I just find it interesting based on where we're at. So I sit there, a few minutes ago, and I go, yeah, I feel like they should get Carter back. I think they get Billy back. Adu's a coin flip. But then you see him operating like this in the portal, and you go, well, is that necessarily the case? Right? You're picking up what I'm putting down, where you look at some of these patterns here and you're like, cool, but does this really, why is this not quite making sense? Right? That's why we're doing a little bit of a reset here today. Speaking of big men, by the way, and I think that this is maybe just a perfect segment into our HD roofing and construction heavy hitters of the day. You guys know the deal, right? HD roofing and construction. Storms can hit unexpectedly or expectedly. We've learned that the hard way here in the state of Arkansas throughout the course of this week, and hope everybody is, being safe out there. And thoughts out to everyone who's been impacted by these storms. Been devastating. I know we got another round that's coming this weekend. Scary stuff, no fun at all. But when those storms hit, be sure to contact HD Roofing for your peace of mind. They'll come out there and give you a free inspection. When you choose HD Roofing, you know that you can rely on professionalism, top quality materials, and expert installation for all your roofing needs. Learn more. Give it a look. HDArkansas.com today. Check them out. Our heavy hitters, I mean, it's just going to be the big men, right? or the lack thereof, maybe. Because we talk about how Arkansas is pursuing apparently all these wings out here when there's a good chance, or at least a chance, hypothetically, that you could bring several back. Here's what you're not bringing back, no matter what. Big men, there are none. Okay? So you would just kind of think that they'd be a little bit more aggressive than they have been. There's reasons why they probably haven't. We'll talk about it. But Morez Johnson, for example, Illinois big man. We know he's off to Michigan now. Malik Renew, Arkansas is in the top 5 there. It kind of seems like he was always going to Miami, off the board. Big Yaxel is, in a situation where, well, actually, let's start with this. How about Magoon? Everybody remembers Magoon, was excited about him. Mountain West Player of the Year, going back to San Diego State. Had some questions there in his medicals. Flory Badunga out of Kansas, starting to hear some smoke about him. And then as it turns out, Arkansas was either just too late to the party or never really invited at all, which we kind of thought might have been the case, but he's really good, so it would have made sense. Anyway, barring a late change there, looks like he's probably Auburn bound. Dang, Bruce Pearl. Save some for the rest of us, my guy. And then Big Yaxel, who, man, he just seems like the ultimate fit, doesn't he? He may just stay in the draft, but if he goes to college, it's not sounding like Arkansas unless they come in with that midnight bag, which I feel like they should, but based on some of the things that I've heard, I don't necessarily think that's in the cards right now. Things change, you recalibrate, but I just don't even know why it's a question, personally. Arkansas has no centers, none. And these are the top guys who have been in the portal, and you spent $0 so far. I get it. It of course, it's early. I know. I've been the one preaching patience, so no need to panic or anything like that. But what are we doing here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it'd be kind of nice to get a better understanding of the plan. They're going to get their guys, but who? You know what I'm saying? When you don't have any, it kind of, I think it raises the tensions a little bit. It's fair to wonder, at least. And I think a lot of people are in that boat right now. And so there are other guys that I really like, and they can serve as our de facto heavy hitters here for the day. And we've talked about most of them. Malik Ewan out of Florida State. He's like a Jalen Graham with a motor on the backboards. Henry Visar, very skilled 7-footer out of Arizona. Ade Mara, huge 7'3", 240-pounder out of UCLA. I like all those guys. I think they could really help Arkansas. I think they're starting caliber players, but I also think a couple other things. One, if Arkansas isn't overextending or, overbidding or whatever to get guys like Morez Johnson or Flory Badunga or Yaxel Lindenborg, are they going to do that with these guys? Just being honest, like I wouldn't think so, unless there's some super high evaluation or an unknown connection that's going on there. Another thought would be that they know of another name or names at the position who are getting ready to become available, getting ready to enter the transfer portal that would be of interest. That, in fact, seems highly likely to me. I would be really surprised if by the end of the weekend, there's not at least one legitimate big man name that is immediately connected to Arkansas. So is that a hint? Maybe, but we'll keep our eyes on that. The other thing I keep thinking about is if we're potentially headed towards, like a rerun recruitment of Jaden Quaintance, who we talked about yesterday, coming off this recent ACL surgery. He's committed to Kentucky, didn't follow him to Arkansas, wound up at Arizona State, balled out there as a freshman, tore his ACL, just got the surgery. May or may not be ready for the season. They say he will be, but you never know. It's a short turnaround for a big man coming off of knee surgery, but a crazy, crazy talent. Regardless of that, Arkansas has to add multiple centers here. It can't be just one. You got to go out and get 2-3 guys who can play in the front court for you. While we figure out who that guy is going to be, like the guy, the starter, the man, which I think is the most logical place for them to spend big money here when it comes to NIL. There are also plenty of what I believe to be high quality rotation options. I wouldn't hate it if they went and got that guy or those guys first. Just to tell you the truth. You just want to have something there to hang on to just in case, because you never really know what's going to happen once you get into the portal is what it is. Now, we've mentioned a lot of guys, Nick Pringle, Deshaun Jackson, guys like that, but there are others worth mentioning who have entered recently, and we'll go more in depth maybe this week. We're already a half hour. We got to get out of here, but we'll talk about different guys more this weekend as the market starts to develop for them. But if we're talking about rotation off the bench bigs, I don't hate the idea of Xavier Booker out of Michigan State, Aaron Bradshaw out of Ohio State, who played for Cal as a freshman at Kentucky last season. Semi-intrigued by Efton Reed out of Wake Forest, who started his career at LSU. He was at Gonzaga also. William Kyle out of UCLA, who I think is a really strong bounce-back candidate. Will Berg, 7'2", big man from Purdue, could be intriguing. Really, any of those guys as backup fives would be solid, like super intriguing, in my opinion. Time will tell if and how deeply Arkansas gets involved there. But there's a lot of names. I think we're still maybe waiting to see if the guy, like that makes a lot of sense, Arkansas is going to get that dude, appears here soon in the portal. Because with the way they're being pragmatic and patient and not panicky, like I might be, or like we might be, I appreciate all that, but it also just, I have a hard time believing they would be that way right now. Especially with some of the talented guys who have, decided to go elsewhere, or they've opted not to pursue. I just don't feel like they'd be doing that if they didn't know something that we didn't know, if they didn't have a plan. I'm going to choose to believe that until I'm proven wrong. So there you have it. But folks, I'm going to get out of here for the day. Appreciate everybody, as always, for tapping in. Do me a favor. If you're not subscribed to the Inside Arkansas YouTube channel, do that while you're here real quick. Turn that notification bell on, because anytime we get news, and I promise you it's coming, whether it's portal additions, portal subtractions, guys saying that they're coming back, whatever. When that stuff happens, we go live, we react in the moment, we get into the chat, we converse, we get your thoughts. It's a good time. We have a lot of fun with it. You want to be a part of that for sure. I promise you. If you listen to podcasts, throw us a like, a review, subscribe, whether it's Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen, do that for us. We would certainly appreciate it. Continue to rock with us. Love you guys. Hope you have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow. We do this 7 days a week, so Saturday and Sunday ain't gonna be no off days. It's not the off days for the Razorback coaching staff there in the portal. It's not for us. So we'll be back to talk about something, hopefully some news, good news, preferably tomorrow. Y'all have a good one.